Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Movesets video. Today's video is going to be all about Alolan Golem, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Alolan Golem is a new Rock-Electric type Pokemon introduced in Generation 7 as an alternate form to the Rock-Ground version of Golem that's been around since Generation 1. But for its abilities, the first one that it gets is known as Magnet Pull, which is an ability that allows this Pokemon to trap opposing Steel-type Pokemon and prevent them from switching out of battle. Additionally, it also gets the Sturdy ability, which allows this Pokemon to survive any attack when at full HP. And lastly, it gets a very unique ability known as Galvanize as its hidden ability, which turns any normal type attacks that you use into electric type attacks and also gives them a 20% boost in their power. But stat-wise, Alolan Golem, much like regular Golem, is just a very bulky defensive tank, possessing base 80 HP, 130 defense, and 65 special defense to round off its defenses, showing off how considerably physically defensive it can be, and offensively having a base 120 physical attack, 55 special attack, and 45 speed, showing off that it's a very powerful physical attacker, but is quite slow at the same time. But with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to be running Alolan Golem as a defensive hazard setter. So we're going to run this set either physically defensive or specially defensive, meaning that we're either going to go with an impish nature to increase our physical defense but lower our special attack, or a careful nature to increase our special defense but lower our special attack, and for the EVs, running 252 into your HP, 252 into your defense or your special defense if you're going to run it physically defensive or specially defensive, and then putting the remainder 4 EVs into its speed stat to make it 1 point faster. But for the ability on this set, really any ability works for this set depending on how you want to use your Golem. You could either run it as a Steel Trapper if you would like to by running Magnet Pull. You could give it the Sturdy ability to just allow it to survive being one-shotted from full health, or you can give it the Galvanize ability to allow it to do a little bit more damage with Return in this case, which is going to be your powerful normal type move that's going to be turning into an electric type attack. But for the moves on the set, the first one that we are definitely going to go with is going to be Stealth Rock, to be a way of setting up hazards on our opponent's side of the field that are going to be damaging our opponents every time they switch in. And then additionally, we're going to be running Rock Blast as our main stab rock type move for the set, which has a lot more accuracy than Stone Edge and can be potentially more powerful, and also has that added benefit of being able to break substitutes and damaging opponents after the substitute is broken. As for your third attack though, you can either go with Thunder Punch to be a powerful electric type move, Return when used in combination with Galvanize to be a very powerful electric type move, or Earthquake to give you additional ground type coverage, which will be especially useful when used in combination with Magnet Pull because you'll be able to hit those steel types super effectively. But finally, for the last move, again we can run Earthquake here for additional coverage, or go with Volt Switch to allow this Pokemon a reliable way of weaving in and out of battle by damaging its opponents first and then switching out to another member of your team. And because this Pokemon is so slow, Volt Switch becomes even better for scouting, because if your opponent wants to U-turn on you or try to Volt Switch on you, you will always go after, thus being able to scout what your opponent brings in and bring in an appropriate counter. But regardless of your move choices, or if you run this as physically defensive or specially defensive, our item is going to be Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn and enhance its defensive capabilities by giving it more health. Now, in addition to being a very effective defensive Steel Trapper, which the first set can be if you do give it the Magnet Pull ability, Golem can also be tailored specifically to be an amazing OU Steel Trapper that has moves that allow it to basically handle the majority of the Steel-type threats in the OU tier. So for this set, we're going to start by giving it a Hasty Nature to increase its speed but lower its physical defense, giving it the Magnet Pull ability to allow it to trap Steel types, and then running a more specially offensive EV spread. As for the moves though, the first one on the set is going to be either Thunderbolt or Discharge to be your main stab electric type move. And as mentioned before, Golem doesn't really have that great of a special attack stat, but because almost all of the Steel types in OU have significantly higher physical defense, you are actually able to do more damage running a special set to them than you would running a physical one. And Thunderbolt and Discharge on the set is specifically designed to deal with Skarmory, which is going to be a solid 2-hit KO on that Pokemon. It's also important to note that while Discharge is a little bit weaker, you could give this set a little bit more utility by having that increased 30% chance to paralyze opponents, even when using this Pokemon not matched up against a Steel type. But for your next attack, we're going to be running Fire Blast on the set to give you a powerful fire type move, which is going to be very useful in dealing with things such as Ferrothorn or Scizor or even Kartana. Finally, for your third moveset, which is really going to be the main other attack of the set, we're going to be running Earthquake. And this set move in particular is basically just designed to deal with Heatran, and that's where these 56 attack EVs come into play. Because with 56 attack EVs, and after Stealth Rock damage, you're able to actually one-shot a defensive Heatran, which you couldn't do otherwise without the physical attack investment. Finally, for the last move slot, we have a few options to go with, the first of which being Volt Switch, to again allow you to have a move that will grant you some switch initiative to your team if you're able to use it effectively. Sunny Day to be a very specific counter to rain teams, which will allow Golem to be brought in on a Ferrothorn, which is typically seen on a rain team, set up the sun, and then one-shot it with Fire Blast. Stealth Rock to be used as a way to set up hazards, which can obviously still be effective on Golem even if you're using it more as a specific Steel Trapper, or Stone Edge to just give you additional type coverage. But for the item, the main one that you want to consider is Focus Sash, because this is going to allow Golem to actually survive a hit from a few of the things that it's trying to Steel Trap, specifically Heatran, because on any offensive Heatran set, Heatran will outspeed you and probably one-shot you with a Earth Power. But with Focus Sash, you can actually live that and then one-shot them back with Earthquake, so that is something that's pretty cool. Additionally, Furium Z is a great move to allow you to one-shot Ferrothorn outside of running Sunny Day, because otherwise it does fall short of a one-hit KO. And then additionally, Electrium Z can be a really great option as well to deal with Skarmory, because this will actually allow you to one-shot Skarmory from full health. Obviously, sturdy permitting on Skarmory at least. But all of these options in general just make this my personal favorite Golem set to use in OU, because it has such an amazing ability to really counter those steel types that you see so often in the tier. As for this next move set, we're going to be running a Choice Banded Golem that's going to really allow it to augment its physical attack power and be a humongous threat, especially if used on a Trick Room team. So we're going to start this one off by giving it an Adamant Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack, or a Brave Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its speed when used on a Trick Room team. And for the ability, we're going to be going with Galvanize to give us increased power on our normal type moves that are now going to be turned into stab electric moves. As for the EVs, we're going to max our HP and physical attack with 252 EVs into both of those stats, and put the remainder 4 into its special defense, and as mentioned before, running the Choice Band item to increase our physical attack while locking us into a move. And for those moves, the first one that we're going to be going with is going to be Double Edge on the set, which will in turn become your most powerful electric type move that you can readily use on this set, and it's going to be doing insane amounts of damage with the Choice Band, and anything that really doesn't resist this is guaranteed to lose a huge chunk of its health. But in addition to Double Edge, we're also going to be running Stone Edge to be our main stab rock type move, and then also running Earthquake as a really powerful ground type coverage option as well, to give you that great Edgequake combo that's virtually unresisted. And when you combine this with your stab electric Double Edge at the same time, you're really setting Golem up to just dish out a ton of damage to anything on your opponent's side of the field. But for the last move, we again could run Volt Switch as a way to allow this Pokemon to weave in and out of battle and do a little bit of damage in the process, or we can run Explosion as a way to give this Pokemon what is one of the most powerful physical moves in the game when combined with Galvanize and a Choice Band. And this is really just a humongous nuke that's going to be fired off and deal a ton of damage to anything, even things that are resisting it, because of how ridiculously powerful this move is. Finally, for the last moveset of this video, we're going to be running Golem as a speed boosting sweeper. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Jolly Nature to increase its speed but lower its special attack, and then going either with the Sturdy ability if you want to avoid being one-hit KO'd from full health, or the Galvanize ability to give us a little bit more damage output with our normal, now electric type moves. But for the EVs on this set, we're going to max our physical attack and our speed stat with 252 EVs into both of those, and also put the remainder 4 EVs into its special defense. But for the item, we could either go with Weakness Policy, which is a move that will increase our physical attack and our special attack by 2 stages when we are hit with a super effective move, which is why running this with Sturdy could be very useful, or going with a Life Orb to allow us to just increase the damage of all of our attacks at the cost of losing 10% of our health every time we damage our opponent. But for the moves, the first one on the set is going to be Autonomize, which is going to allow us to boost our speed by 2 stages, and also significantly reduce our weight, which can allow this Pokemon to actually take significantly reduced damage from Low Kick, which is a little bit more of a common move in the lower tiers than it is in the higher tiers. But if you wanted to, I suppose you could also run Rock Polish as a way to boost your speed by 2 stages as well, if you really don't care so much about the low kick damage. But for the other moves, Thunder Punch or Return is going to be our main stab electric type move, running Thunder Punch on the Sturdy set and Return on the Galvanize set. We're also going to go with Stone Edge to be your main rock type move like before, and then for your last move slot, either running Earthquake for additional type coverage or running Stealth Rock, which is actually a way that I have been running Golem for a very long time by running a Stealth Rock set with max speed and physical attack and a speed boosting move, because once you get the rocks up, and if your opponent also sets up rocks in the first turn, you're actually able to then set up for free, have your Sturdy intact, and possibly even capitalize off weakness policy if your opponent has a super effective move. So this can be a very cool utility way of using this as well, if you don't just want to run 3 coverage moves in combination with Autotomize. But anyways everybody, that is it for this video on Alolan Golem. So as always, thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.